Welcome to Black Love Matters, where this serves as a therapy session for figuring out adulthood,
loving each other,
and finding our inner Barack and Michelle.
Or Jay-Z and Beyonce. Or this episode, since we in the D, I want to do something a little different. How about Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey?
Okay.
First of all, first and foremost, Marjorie Harvey, I don't care what none of y'all say, is sickening, okay? Fashions, hair, swag, she serves. I don't know if y'all have seen her lately. Whenever she comes correct. All right?
All right now.
Well, let's get back to it. So I know Mr. Steve Harvey can be controversial. But one thing you can't deny is his love for his family, is most importantly his wife. Now, this is Steve's third wife. But on Black Love Matters, we love all black love, okay? So we're saying sometimes you got to do it, 1, 2, 3 to get it right as of now. So I just thought it was important just to shout out that too. Because sometimes I've noticed as I was going back through our notes and listening to our podcast that we really focus on, we've been highlighting a lot of folks who've been together for like 40 years, like high school sweethearts, 20. We never really talked about anyone who been married, broke up, been married, broke up. And I think that's what's more realistic. Like that might happen where you might first initially start growing with someone, then you grow apart,
right.
And then you have to go back to find something new. And I think that's completely okay. And I think that's actually takes more courage to say, hey, me and you ain't working. So we need to go our separate ways so we can live our best lives. So I just say a big shout out to Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey for really stepping into that. And as y'all know, Steve Harvey always stepping in some shit as of lately. But I would give it to Marjorie Harvey. She stood strong next to her man like a tree. No matter what foolishness Steve was doing, unnecessarily foolish stuff Steve was doing, Marjorie was right there behind him. Whether it was infidelity rumors. Didn't he write that? What was that letter? That letter to his. Yeah. I actually found the letter quite hilarious.
Please don't talk to me. Leave me alone. There will be no more run-ups.
From a person who used to work that office life, I wanted to be like, can I get one and put Nyambi name at the end? So I felt him on that, but I just really appreciated it. And this idea of really how they blended their family, both of them from both of their marriages, both of their relationships, run children in the way that as they show us, I should say, they just seamlessly kind of mish and blend their family in. They trying to do that Alicia Keys with Speeds thing, but at least they're not writing songs about each other. Like I just think it's something to be said about that type of love. And again, for the folks who don't know who Marjorie Harvey is, please go check out her Instagram. When I tell you sis is serving fashions, sis is gorgeous. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey Niram, we was talking about a few episodes ago, Negroes with light eyes.
Yes.
Marjorie Harvey is a negress with light eyes. Does the same thing go for women? Like, do women on as from the male perspective, like, do y'all be like, oh, don't mess with them chicks with them funny eyes, they'll play you?
I haven't heard that, but
y'all niggas sorry. Yeah, no.
I haven't heard that, but matter. I know them niggas with light eyes are definitely.
Okay, we already established the Negroes with light eyes.
The women with light eyes, I don't know.
I don't think they get the same rep as men do. What you think?
Listeners, hit us up. What y'all think about them negress with light eyes?
Negresses with light eyes today. Why they don't have the same negative connotation as they brethren does. I say that because Marjorie Harvey has lighter eyes too, but she's gorgeous. I think she's absolutely beautiful. I love their love together. Whenever I see them on Instagram, they remind me of that old auntie and uncle love. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
The auntie and uncle when they come to the barbecue. Okay.
You talking about the one that get drunk and
No, I'm talking about the auntie and uncle who made it. So think of the 4th of July barbecue y'all having at the Meemaw house, right?
Yeah.
And it's always that auntie or uncle that they still come, but the family always kind of talk about them. I guess they've been touched by white hands a little bit, but they've been touched by white hands, but hood rich. I imagine them as that couple.
I know who you're talking about.
So they come into the backyard barbecue like dressed from head to toe in like old school Louis Vuitton, like with the LVs.
In the latest fashions.
That's how.
And everybody looking at them like, what the hell?
What are you wearing?
And then like every song that comes on, they have a choreographed dance.
Yeah, two-step to it.
Yeah.
Come on. But anywho, shout out just to Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey. And as I said, coming into Detroit, the fashions, just that raw, unfiltered Detroit love, not caring what other folks think, how they think, going against the norm. I just thought it would be fit for us to highlight them today. Who was you?
I'm Niram.
And I'm Nyambi.
And this is episode 35.
35?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
35. And we in
Right.
Detroit. So be sure to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher.
Yeah.
And follow us on all forms of social media. And that's at Black Love Matters. Remember, the black that's black with no K. Baby, what you got?
Well, I don't have much of a check-in. So I think the biggest thing that happened to me is that I transitioned directly from work and had to come home, pack, and get ready to come. First of all, y'all don't know me. Whenever I travel, I try to be on point. I'm the type of person who bring out my suitcase like 2 weeks before I'm about to leave and begin planning out my outfits. And like, what would you say, at least 3 days before I leave, I'm fully packed.
Yep.
Like, I'm talking about I got my underwear folded. I got toothbrush. Everything is loaded. Child, I went to work, came and sat on the couch, dozed off, and woke back up and was like, I probably should pack.
Yeah, you probably should.
And I did. And I did that. But my biggest thing was my flight to Detroit. So y'all know Niram had to go out the day before, right? So that day before, I was already up at 4 a.m. driving him to Boston. And for y'all out here, y'all know how Logan can be. It was a trip. So before I even made it home from dropping off Niram gonna call me and was like, Nyambi, the airport is what? The club.
2-drink minimum.
You better get here super, super early the next day. So I'm like, Jesus. So I left like around 3:30 the next morning. So almost a full hour before I took Niram, just so I can park, get there. When I got to that airport, y'all, that airport was so damn empty. I almost called Niram and woke him up and cussed him out. When I tell you, you could have been like, hello, 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 hello. I was like, is there something going on? I'm couldn't on my phone. I said, did something happen in America? Where are the white people at? Where is their families? I got through security in like 3 minutes. I didn't check a bag because Niram said the bag line was so long.
It
like
was.
you had to get there 2.5 hours. Like it took an hour in the bag line, an hour in the security line. So I'm like, forget that. I'm just going to bring my little carry-on. Want nothing, nobody there. So I got all my little shit squished up in my bag, all my little clothes wrinkled. But anyway, I go through security. I'm hopped up off caffeine. For y'all who don't know, I'm caffeine sensitive.
Lord.
So I done had a Frappuccino on the road. So about 30 minutes into my drive, I'm bouncing off the road. I'm bossing off the wall. I got my playlist playing. And everything on my playlist is everything from Cardi B. What's her song? Bodak Yellow. And then it hit it. Then it Clark's Sister, You Brought the Sunshine. So I am just all over the place. And then I finally get into the airport, get through security. What'd I say? Maybe a Starbucks would be nice.
Oh, my God.
Why didn't I get any substance food? I'm just hopped up on caffeine and water.
And think y'all don't know
What?
is that Nyambi is super. Both of us are like caffeine sensitive, but Nyambi ass, when you give her some fucking caffeine,
Yeah.
like I picked her up and she said, "Hey, Niram, I am just so wired. Like I just been peeing and drinking coffee, and I'm just up and I'm ready to do things." And I'm like, "The fuck."
Oh my goodness. But I ain't telling you where. So I'm getting a chance to catch up on like some of my favorite podcasts. I love listening to some music. Just getting in the zone. Quiet meditation and prayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so I'm getting on the airport and I'm finally starting to hit that, when you hit that caffeine wall. So I'm starting to come down. I was like, well, this is good. I'm getting on the plane. I can rest and sleep, right? As soon as I go to sleep, I feel somebody caressing up my leg. I said, what the hell? I'm thinking it's a little spider because my eyes closed. So, or a little bug, so I'm, you just hit your knee
Mm-hmm.
and then it come back again. Look. That's what I feel like. I looked up, child, why is it a little white child who done peeked from in front of me through his seat? He done put his hand through the seat and he rubbing on my damn knee, smiling. And I'm like, first played it off. And then he doing it every 30 minutes. I'm looking at his mother like, ma'am. And finally the mama done woke up, her mouth open from snoring. Don't rub on that lady's leg, please. Please, Timothy, please stop. I said, what the hell?
Oh,
Every time I get on the plane, it's something. But do you know what I'm talking about? He's sticking his little white hands
yeah. He just stuck his hands through the.
and rubbing all on my meat, all on my kneecap,
He like you.
all on the coconut and smiling. I said, what is this? What did these children have no boundaries?
That's his ancestors coming out of him.
What you mean that's his ancestors?
You know how the white man get.
He was rubbing the hell out my knee. He was just rubbing and smiling and looking.
If he could have got somewhere else, he probably would have.
Don't do that. That's a baby. Don't do that. But it was just so weird. I've never just had a kid who I done had plenty of white children look at me constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle looks because I just go to sleep. But when he just kept rubbing, you know how little kids' hands be little? and tickly.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop that.
Like
That's,
little spiders and shit.
yeah, that's 'cause I thought it was a little bug or something that got on me, but that's him touching me. So I was like, so we did that for about 2 hours on the plane. But then we finally made it, and it was good to see everyone. I think this episode we kind of just talking about what we done did so far right now.
Yeah, we're just going to keep it very low key.
Alrighty, so I won't bring up the other stuff. But another check-in that I'm super excited about. Von Zant Fits My Life preview has came out and is back September 30th. And I'm here for all of it. I got my life when I seen her. She up in this house. She talking to the black man. She talking about the relationships. They've been abused. And they talking about I communicate well, and all she did was laugh. I said, Oprah needs to do better with this editing. He talking about I do good with communication, and all you hear is Von Zant laugh, and then it's a breakaway to the house, like a horror movie. She said, ha, ha, ha. I said, this is too much. So y'all know Queen Von Zant is my virtual godmother. So I am too lit to see that and move forward.
Did she make somebody call themselves adult fiend manipulator?
No,
again?
I don't think anything has topped that episode yet. But, it's Von Zant. It's going to be brilliant. All right, Neil, what's going on with you?
Well, you guys, I made it to Detroit one day before Nyambi, and like I said, when I got to the airport, that bad boy was packed, like so packed.
You called me. I thought
did.
something was wrong. I thought you missed your flight or something.
It was so packed. Like, thank God that your boy got TSA pre-check because
Shout out to that.
Yes,
y'all get that
because the
pre-check.
the pre-check line only had 2 people in it, but but for y'all regular folks who ain't paid the $125 to get that pre-check. That line was wrapped.
What you mean regular folks? The one who ain't give it up to Big Brother?
Yeah.
You just handed it to Big Brother on the platter, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and I'll do it again twice over. And so, because that's the thing, like you don't know, like when you leave airports, they say like what an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and I got there like literally an hour before my flight leave, and
You
if I
maybe
didn't,
an hour and a half.
okay, hour and a half.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have pre-check, I don't think I would have made it.
Jeez.
It's like that one time we went for Christmas.
Oh, it was
And-
horrible. Like I almost turned around and was like, this not happening.
Yeah, and it got to the point where I was like, well, babe, you just get into your security line, and I'll wait and check the bags because I got that pre-check. So, I could just walk right on through.
Yeah.
Naomi, you need to go ahead and get on that pre-check life.
I know I need to get on the pre-check life because even when I was, in my past life, I did a lot of recruiting, so I was constantly on planes. I still didn't have it then.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking that might be the best bet to move forward. But it wasn't bad when I went. I think it's just times.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
think
was
so too.
times that it was packed because it's been other times I've been to Logan and I've been out there and walked the hell out. Like, and it's been, it's been easy. But that morning I went, it was fine. I think between like 6 a.m. and maybe 9 a.m. is sickening. And then maybe another one around like noon, and then maybe late in the evening. But when I went, I guess I was there at 5, and it was just me and the dogs. The dogs who smell for drugs. He looked asleep. Like everybody was asleep. When none open us up Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, won't get no food, honey. Like if it ain't a bagel and some Dunkachino, forget it.
I hear you.
I mean, that baby, of course, he was wide awake.
So, I made it to the funeral, and we can talk more about that a little bit later. But I just want to, make a thanks or a shout out to everyone who sent their condolences to me.
Yes,
I really
everyone's been
appreciate
so
it.
supportive. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's all we got for now. Well, that's all I got for my updates. You want to move on to some pillow talk?
Yeah. We're going to do pillow talk. Like I said, we're not going to go too deep into it today because we're going to talk kind of about our transition to Detroit and all that good stuff. Friday, we'll pick up more so with the pillow talk and the hot topics and all that good things. I know a lot of folks reached out to us and DM'd us. It was like, y'all ain't talk about 45. We told y'all we doing that shit once a week. Ain't shit to talk about. He crazy. You have to practice self-care and you have to resist. But what I will say is he's on some fucking foolishness. When he released a statement, denied that statement, released another one, denied that one, and going back. All I got to say is just like Maya Angelou told us, when people show you who the fuck they are, you need to believe them.
Did Maya Angelou add the fuck in there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure she did, and she just was editing when she was with Baldwin. They was doing the first draft. He is like, sister, just take that out. That's not needed. But I'm not there on my journey yet, so I added it back in for her.
Gotcha.
And that's what I would really just say about the stuff that's going on in 45. Like, y'all, we have to resist and we have to persist and we have to realize who's the enemy and who is not the enemy, because now they're just creating a bigger ball of confusion and hatred. And what I would recommend, and this is the only thing I'm going to say about it until we pick back up with it next week and really go into the details. This is the time for your resistance can look different for everybody. I think we talked about this like really early when the podcast first started. Everyone is not going to be on the front lines protesting. Everybody's not going to be as crazy and as vocal as Nyambe and Nerom. And that's fine. But everybody has to pick their way in which they're going to resist. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we need those folks on the front line. We need the Neroms and Nyambes. But we also need the other creatives. So a form of resistance is diving into your craft and fleshing that out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you have a business that you've been dreaming of creating, if you wanted to go back to school, if there's just something that you always wanted to do, now was the time to do it. And that's a form of resistance. Because what I feel like this administration wants us to do is to be stagnant, to be still, to take it, to settle for less. And a way of moving forward is navigating through that. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I don't think we've talked about that enough. So my push to y'all, the way you resist is creating that craft, diving into what you want to do. All that shit you don't put off, I need you to do it today. Hell, even if it's just something of going for a walk, getting your lifestyle together, you know what I'm saying? Getting healthy, because we need y'all in fighting weight.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm like? We need y'all to, whatever that is you've been doing or putting it off for whatever the fuck reason, Nerom and Nyambe gonna need y'all to dust that shit off this weekend and get that shit going and have a fucking update by next week. Does that?
Yeah, now it's the time.
And then one last thing, I know I was the only thing I was gonna say. Those midterm elections is coming, y'all. I think we put it on our Instagram. It's over 200 seats available across the government. Mm-hmm. So be it representative seats, mayor openings, House of Representatives, all these things are opening, and we have to use our voter power to change that shit. We done talking the bullshit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We done talking. You know how the fuck we feel. You know how he feel. We got to get them at their own game. We got to replace these seats. We got to get our folks in there, and we have to resist with our own shit. We have to create and build and support our own communities and move forward. So I think that's just my piece of advice this weekend. And for whoever's sitting on their butt ain't moving forward, I need y'all to get up and do that now.
Yeah, dude.
Does that make that's really just how I feel? Because I know folks like, y'all ain't touch on it because it's bullshit. Y'all already know the deal. You have to resist and persist and create.
So 33 seats in the Senate.
Yes.
435 seats in the House of Representatives. 14 state governors.
Yes.
All will be up for re-election.
In the midterms.
For the midterms on November 6, 2018.
So that's how we resist. That's how we move forward. And again, knowing that everyone does. We don't need everybody at the front line. We need folks at all levels. So we know some folks who work for the government. We need y'all to do what y'all need to do while you're working in that government.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You working for the government. We know y'all can't necessarily be on the front lines as a conflict of interest, but we need you to doing the work when you at that office.
Exactly.
Is that that's what we need everybody to do.
Yeah, this definitely needs to be a collective effort. Like, so the people who are writing letters and giving us templates on Facebook on what you need to do and what you need to do to call your local, state, and governor. We need that. So keep doing that, because truth be told, I'm just going to be straight up. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to call my state representative without no damn template and the phone number. You know, they had that template in there. You know, they be having that template in the phone number on Facebook.
Hold on. So, first of all, we're lucky because we're in the blue state. So, all our folks, before we can call them, they done called us. They done sent us a letter. They done sent us an email to say, just so you know, as your representative, we do not stand blah, blah, blah. But what you mean? So, if you call, what would you tell your representative?
I don't know. That's why I thank God for the people who write them templates.
Would you just be like, hey,
what
you doing?
And they'll let you know you're not going to talk to the person. You're probably going to talk to like one of their people.
Yeah.
They're going to be nice, but all you got to do is say this, and they'll just mark it off.
Yeah.
But shit, if I didn't know that, I don't know.
Nerom, I'm still...
Hold up. Hello? Can I speak to Elizabeth Warren?
Did you say, can I speak to Elizabeth Warren?
She's not there. Can I leave a message? Hello, Lizzie.
Hey, Lizzie girl.
It's me, Nerom.
It's me, Nerom, for Black Love Matters podcast.
I don't know if you listen, but I listen to you, and I just want to let you know I don't support this Trump shit.
Do your work.
So I don't know what you need to do for tallies or whatever, but I need you to vote no or vote against Trump or whatever.
What is she voting on? Ain't even nothing to vote on. You said I just need you to vote no. What is she voting no on?
I don't know.
Him.
That's why I need those templates. That's why I'm giving shout out and praise to the people who write these damn templates and give me phone numbers and things of that sort on Facebook, because y'all know how I am.
Okay, Uncle
I get up there and with some foolishness.
Okay, Uncle Junebug. We say Uncle Junebug because remember when Obama first went up for No, his first run.
Uh-huh.
And he was like out voting. And Michael Bloomberg, he votes, but usually he'll do absentee and just go ahead and submit that shit in. But he was like, no, I'm getting up, I'm getting clean, I'm getting sharp, and I'm going up to vote. And so, of course, the news gonna come on him. And they be like, who you voting for? Bahama. I was like, I said, is this a skit? He said, I'm voting for the only nigga need to be voted for. Bahama. I said,
Lord.
so that's how you is, huh? So
Yeah.
how you gonna do? I voted no.
Lizzie.
Sir, what are we voting no on?
Lizzie, go ahead and vote no.
The Health Care Act. Oh, we've already done that.
Oh.
That's already passed.
Oh,
So that's what I was saying when I'm thinking about resistance and, persistence. We need it at all levels. We need them Twitter fingers. We need them Twitter soldiers out there. We
Right.
need them Instagram soldiers. We need them Facebook, because it ain't for everybody.
right.
We need folks at all levels.
Think
we need
pieces and shit.
we
Yeah.
need to think pieces. We need the folks in church praying for us. We need protection and guidance on all the damn levels.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And then also for Pillow Talk, before we kind of get into Detroit, I guess it was inspired by, I know this one's going to be kind of a maturity Detroit episode, but this idea, I forgot who sent this to us. Do you remember who sent us this link?
No, I can't remember.
One of our listeners, or I should say listeners, one of our families, when our folks are part of the community, it was this little, I guess it's a think piece on this idea of African versus African American, like Black love. So in the media, it's becoming, I would say it's just more exposed in the media. I don't think Black love is anything new. It's something that I've been exposed to, been around my whole life.
Right.
And I know it's amazing. I know it's brilliant. But the piece was saying, with the coming of Black love being more so in the media than it ever has been before, they then kind of broke this thing of like African versus African American love, or I would even throw kind of like island folks, so Caribbean folks in there versus, African American love and all things like that. And I thought being in Detroit, it really made me realize the lens I was coming from on it. Because when I first read it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see the differences. And because I think culturally it's different. So I think African Americans, meaning, brown folks of slave descent, and Africans, who first generation, who came from, the continent of Africa and came here or still there. And then also the island folks. I think we do have different, slants and cultural norms when it comes to love. But I would say the beautiful thing I've got from being a Detroiter is this idea of Black. Does that make sense? So I even think that goes to why we called our podcast Black Love Matters and not African American.
Love matters.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because from my experience in Detroit, and as y'all know, it's Black. The city, and we talking about the proper, like the city, Detroit proper is Black. Ain't no white folks in Detroit. And, even when it comes to Black, it's Africans, Jamaican, it's all type, but it's again, a majority African-American, slave descent, that whole thing. And the folks I've been around, Black is Black. Yep. Black is Black is Black is Black is Black is Black.
It don't matter if you come from an island, from a continent.
It's cute. Yeah. And that's cute that you can trace your roots a little bit further than I can trace my roots. But the idea that Black love is Black love across the board. And soon, after I got from the airport and, we did some visiting like in Detroit just to see that. Mm-hmm. I think that put it, it just solidified it for me. Because I think living in like New England and maybe other parts of the country, you can see the separation a little bit more.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Like in New England, the Black neighborhoods is ain't too many Black neighborhoods, honey. But the brown communities are separated like culturally. So you can go to the New Yorks or other parts and see like Little Haiti and Jamaica Queen. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can see that. But in Detroit, we have folks from Haiti, from Jamaica, from Lagos, Nigeria, stuff like that. Yeah. But them niggas is living next door.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is a different, it's more of, and it's weird to say this, more of a melting pot in Detroit compared to New England. So New England might have a diversity of different types of Black people, but I would say it's very segregated. Does that make sense?
It's very much so. But that's one of the things I learned. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's one of the things that I learned when I first moved out to New England, is how all the Black folks are separated. Yeah.
And not like a bad, like, nigga, you better stay on that side of the line, but like almost a natural, oh, this is Little Haiti, this is Holtz, this is there. Where in Detroit, No.
And I think another thing that really baffles me is that this whole fact of like what everybody want to know what their nationality is. So I remember like first moving down there, and people are like, well, so what are you? Are you Jamaican? Are you?
I was like, I'm black.
Right.
BLAQUE.
Right.
Black.
I'm black. No, but where your family from? Detroit. No. Your ancestors. Africa.
This
What,
me.
oh, what part? The slave ship.
Child, where the slaves
Yeah.
come through? That's what I said.
The slave ship. Oh, you black. You black.
You
African American.
Till I came to New England, I never had to identify myself as American. I said and I said it with a little shame in my voice.
Right.
I'm American.
Right. I'm black. I'm black American. Oh. And they like look like at you like they sorry for
They
you.
look sorry for me.
Right.
I said, Alphys, you came over here, sis.
Right. We still in the same predicament.
That's why I said we the same. And the thing is, it took me years to even begin to not, I don't say retaliate, but to ask the question again and pay 20 questions with them. Because we'll do that and I just move on. Because even in my head, I'm like, oh, you just black to me.
Yeah, you black to me.
But now I'm more like, oh, well, where you from? And where your people from? Okay, shout out to them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't even connect because I'm on the level of culturally being black. We are culturally black as a unit. So it is something special for all of us being, if you were born an American, first gen, second gen, when you come here and you black, you fall under the umbrella to me.
Yes.
We together in the struggle.
If you got melanated skin in Detroit, you black.
We together in the struggle. So I think that was hard for me to even digest or dissect a little bit, because that's why we say it's black love. Of course, we understand that our cousins from, the continent of Africa, born there, they do stuff slightly different. We understand our folks from the island. We understand our brown folks from South America. They do a little different. But again, by being in America,
you black.
That undertone roll with you. And I think no matter when that culture is different, when it come down to it, we all got to look each other in the eye and give each other the head nod.
Sure do.
To say, I see you, I understand you, and that's black love. And I keep saying, I think that ties back to why we called it that, because it is something different. And, thinking about it, I actually would like us to have like an episode where we talk with couples who self-identify more closely to that. Does that make sense? So I want some, Kenyans or Nigerians to be like, no, we both a Nigerian couple, and this is how we define black love. But you see, the thing is still black love. Yeah. But it's different. Or our folks from the islands, they may be, I don't know, from Grenada or, Jamaica or Trinidad. Mm-hmm. Still black love. But this is how they view it and digest it, and, how it comes out through their lens. Or also that combination too. So, we got friends who black from the slave trade. We had to use another word. Why would you say black?
Nigga black.
Nigga black. No, don't say nigga black. You say nigga black. Negro. Baldwin black.
Niggas.
Can we say Baldwin black?
Yeah, we can do Baldwin black.
MLK black. Civil rights movement black. Uh-huh. That sounds a little bit better. The movement, yeah. Mm-hmm. From the movement black, and dating someone who is from, Africa or the islands or something, to see how they navigate through that. Because it is. I think the traditional customs and rituals are just different. Yeah. But even with that, I think across all of those, we got the same shit. It just looked different.
Yeah. Sure
so, you go to a Nigerian wedding and, mama and daddy two-stepping coming on in. Black folks, we do the same thing too.
Sure do.
Civil rights movement, we do the same thing too. It's just the music different. We listening to Stevie and they listen to, I don't know no Nigerian artists. But whoever they Nigerian artist is, that's who they listening to. Does it make sense? It reminds me of that two-step when they be inching in.
Yeah.
Like, hey. Hey. You know what I'm saying? They do the entrance. Black folks, we do the same thing too.
Right.
But it's just somebody else.
Right.
No.
My eyes, the whole crowd.
Oh, wait, you talking about the hustle. We do. Oh, did they call them the hustle here?
Yeah.
Do they call it a two-stepping, or they call it line?
New
England, they call it line dance. I said that's a white folk
right.
group. We two-step. We ballroom. We don't line dance. But anyway, that's just, I remember we got that maybe about a couple weeks ago, and I just wanted to address that. And I see us fleshing that out more so on a different episode when we maybe have folks that identify for that. But I know Nirma Nyambi, and we can thank our Detroit lens from it. It don't matter where you from. You black, honey. That's fine. That's fine. I know that's where you're from, and that's where your traditions come from and your rituals. But in America,
you're black.
You're black. And we have this common understanding that we got to put respect on that.
Amen.
Hey. All right, now we're going to do this. We're going to do a little update on
We're going to do some
thus
Detroit.
far happenings in Detroit. Can I just say I love my city? Like getting off the plane and stepping out, I was just like, this is Chocolate City. And that's what reminded me of that African versus African American island love, is that this is Chocolate City. It's just Chocolate City everywhere. From the pilots to the flight attendants to the bus people to the plane. Everybody just black.
Everybody black.
Everyone just looking around, holding hands, blacks, the babies. I said, this is amazing.
Right.
That's how you know I've been in New England too long.
Move over, white person. Let me look at this black couple.
Let me look at this black couple. Beautiful. Gay, straight, black love. I said, look at this. But I'm sorry, I'm taking them. What's going on? What's some our pillow talks we got from Detroit?
So I guess one of the things I just start off with is the funeral, because that's you know.
Look, we putting pins. This is supposed to be a short episode, but we putting pins all over the place. Go ahead. I'm thinking about just how folks do. How do you navigate loss as a couple? But go ahead.
Exactly. So
Go ahead.
Nyambi drops me off.
Let
I
him
get
use
on the
you.
airplane. TSA pre-check. Shout out to the government.
Okay, did you for the first and only time?
Shout out to the government.
Yeah.
They got something right. It was that TSA pre-check.
Whoever had a TSA pre-check, you the real one.
So, I was pretty pressed, and I had like a solid deadline. So when my plane got here at 9:30,
Yeah.
I needed to be at the funeral home at 10:30 because that's when like the wake and
Yes.
the funeral services started.
And explain, what a wake is. Again, I think that comes to that African American slave
Right.
island. I think we use same shit, different terminology.
So I think some people call it like family hour.
Yes.
But it's usually not an hour though. It's usually like 30 minutes.
30 minutes. That's changed. I remember being younger than they were an hour. I think it's a lot of death, honey. I don't know.
So family hour, the
Yeah.
wake, that's when you can view the body and things of
Yeah.
that sort.
Yeah.
And I guess it goes back to, I don't know, African terms where they call it the wake so they can see if the person
Probably
going to wake up.
Ooh,
Oh,
shit. Nope. Could you imagine?
God damn.
And it was at the house
Yeah.
back in the day. But
They was at their house and said, let's see if they're going to wake up. So I got off
Hell
the
no.
airplane, rushed to Hertz, got a rental car, and made a beeline for the church. Why I'm like one of the few people there early.
Well, I could have told you that funerals and it's like weddings. They don't necessarily start on time.
So
At least a 30-minute gap, I would say.
everybody asking me like, oh, Niram, where your mama? I don't know.
You said, I done came from Massachusetts. I don't live here.
Niram, where your mama?
I don't live here.
I just got off the plane.
Yeah.
Niram, where your mama? I just got off the plane. What you see me wearing today, I wore this on the
I've
airport.
been wearing this since 3 in the morning.
Right. Niram, where your I just got off the plane.
Yeah.
And so, I sit down and kick it, get some hugs to some people and things of that sort.
Yeah.
The first thing, my nephew.
Uh-huh.
So he done came in. He said, well, I'm going to sit next to you.
Uh-huh.
So I'm all right. So one of the things, like the church air conditioner wasn't working, so they gave everybody
What?
those
What?
handheld fans.
You did not say the air won't work.
The air was not working.
In the middle of August?
Yes.
At
So
a
it was
funeral?
hot.
It-
The fans was running.
In the middle of a funeral where we're all overdressed wearing dark clothing.
Yes.
And usually our dark clothing is heavy. Because in Detroit, in the summer, we believe in being godly and wearing white
Exactly.
and linen.
So he walks past me. So I let him in. He walks over me. So I'm fanning. And then I just smell nothing but skunk. So I look
Oh,
at
you
him.
old. Did you call it
Yeah.
skunk?
I looked at him and said,
Oh,
nigga, you
not skunk.
nigga, you kind of skunky.
For
And then-
y'all don't know, skunk is weed. That's an old
Yeah,
term.
nigga, you skunky.
Yeah.
And he over here.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
I cannot. And it's hot too.
It's hot.
So I'm getting contact
Exactly.
because we don't smoke weed. So we get the hint of it. We like old white. What is that smell? What
Right.
is that? We calling the police.
I'm like, damn, nigga, can you wait?
What time was it?
It was not 10 o'clock.
So he waking and
10:30.
baking? That's a thing?
I don't know
I
what
thought
the
they
hell
only
his
did that
ass
in
is
LA.
doing. But his ass is definitely skunky.
Oh Lord.
Lord. So everybody's still asking me, where your mama? So I'm saying people I ain't
Hold on.
seen.
Did he continue to sit next to you?
Yeah.
Did it get rub off on your clothes?
No.
Okay.
So, because about the time that I was starting to get in contact, my mama came in. Because everybody was like, where your mama? Where your mama?
Yeah.
So, they came in late.
Yeah.
And, my mom seen me. And she's like, well, come sit with me. So I go sit with her and, give her a hug and kiss, tell her I love her. And,
course.
all the other niceties. So
It's not a niceties. That's what you do.
I hugged my mama. I told her I love her. I gave her a
Yes.
kiss.
You be nice to you. You said
And
that as a
then,
letter.
You know, I sat up front, like in the front row with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they're going through it, and, you know, she's crying. She stopped crying, get some tissue.
Of
We
course.
fanning her.
Yeah.
And, you know, they do like the last viewing type of thing.
You know, black culture.
So it's like, I done seen this woman. We done had this wake. Now I got to do it. I'd already been traumatized, and I'd already cried.
Hold on. You've been traumatized.
I'd already cried.
You was a grown man. What do you mean you traumatized? That's your aunt.
I know.
Yeah.
So, well, traumatized might not be the best word.
No, it's not.
But, you know, I done seen the body,
Yes.
and, you know,
You processed.
you know, rest in peace and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, you know, do you want to see a final viewing?
Oh,
My
Lord.
mama was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So we go up there and see her.
Yeah.
And then she was okay. You know, she cried a little bit more. I got some tissue and we sat back down. And then, you know, she did what most black people do when they start closing that casket.
That's the hardest part. Why do we do this in our culture? What?
My mama was in rare form.
What do you mean?
That's my sister. No, don't do it. No, don't do
do
it.
that. People grieve, Nero. That's how people grieve.
And then she fainted.
Oh.
And like she
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Was she
fainted.
standing?
No, she was sitting down.
Oh, so
So she was sitting down. So I don't know if you know how you like you faint and you like kind of slide.
Oh Lord, like
slide
and you in
down.
leather. Like remember when you be on plastic and have
Yeah.
slippery clothes and you just slide down.
You kind of just slide down. So she did that. So you know my arm was already around her.
Yeah.
So I'm holding her and
Yeah.
fanning her and things like that. And then she slid. So I
Oh
caught her.
Lord. Yeah.
So you know I had to like put my arms under both of her arms, like under her armpits type thing. And I'm like holding her. So I'm looking around at what my cousins
They
like.
ain't help you?
Ain't nobody helping. So finally somebody came. I felt like it felt like a lifetime. And then somebody
Hold
came.
on to the Lord. The Lord had you.
And then one of my other cousins came like, all right, I'm gonna get her. So, you know, we get her and we, you know, we fan her, everybody coming over and things of that sort.
Oh.
I felt like my cousins came over, like their mother, like whose mother is funeral.
The daughters.
The daughters.
Yeah.
They done came over fanning my mama. I
They
felt like,
fanning her?
yeah. So I felt like I seen an eye roller too.
You did.
I
You
felt-
probably did. You did.
I felt like they was looking like, damn, I can't even grieve my own mama.
Because you done snap me out of it.
I can't grieve my own mama because my damn auntie out here acting a plum fool.
You know, black folks, we grieve in rare form.
Well, my mama was in. It's
One thing
always
we do
one.
well is grieve, and we get the Holy Ghost good, honey.
So you know,
Okay.
I felt like
We
all
feel.
eyes was on me. I felt like I heard a groan. It's like in a movie when somebody faint and you just hear a groan, like.
Be quiet. No, everyone grieves differently.
So she
Everyone
fainted.
grieves differently.
We fan her. We get
How
her
long
up.
she
We
stay out for? Did y'all call the police?
No.
The ambulance? How long was she out for?
Probably about 2-3 minutes.
Oh.
There wasn't enough time to even cook. We
Okay.
like fanning her.
Because if you go to
you know,
5, we got to call somebody.
Taking off her jacket, and then we just stood her up. Like she.
Oh, was
she
it hot up in
fainting.
that bitch too?
Yeah.
So she might have been everything. It ain't no we dehydrated. It's
Exactly.
hot. The emotions, everything.
And so you know, so that was one thing. So we get her back. We get her back, and
Why you say you get her back?
Cause-
Why you say like you done did CPR?
after
She done
we-
came
we
back
got
from the
her back.
Lord.
We
She
fanned
here.
her. We done took off her little jacket.
Yeah.
You know, people putting water on her back and shit like that. So we
Yeah.
finally get her back,
Yeah.
and you know, we go through the service, and so that was one thing. So another thing is, and this is new.
Yes.
So one part of the service,
Yeah.
was like they had this. No, before I even go there,
Yeah.
the pastor.
Well, it was a good preaching. Detroit give you good preaching, even if you don't. If I know Neron be like he the grand architect. If you go to a Detroit church, you will get your life. The pastors don't play.
So
So did he give a good word?
He gave a good word, but let
Yeah.
me tell you about this nigga. Because he's like, well, you know,
This nigga.
I want to tell y'all like how the Lord has been good to me.
Hey, come on.
So he's like, when I was serving my 2 life sentences.
Pause. What? Huh? Hold on. He's in jail and he's a pastor?
I had so many questions.
Wait, no, for real, Nero. So he out on good behavior? What is
I
happening?
don't know, baby. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to pull him aside. And
Okay. Oh wait, I gotta
Further
get
deep
this
into
straight.
it.
Wait, I know we talking about the funeral. The pastor said the God has been so good to him, thank you, Jesus, that he saved him from 2 life sentences. What did he say?
when he said when he was in prison serving 2 life sentences,
How old is he? 80?
no,
How old is
He
he?
like your parents' age. So I say no older than like 50.
Wait, so he done got out.
Yeah.
God is good. He got out of 2 life sentences as a black man.
Yeah.
Will he kill somebody?
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask, and he didn't give us that. He just hit us
You
with
can't drop that and run.
He just hit us with, well, when I was serving my 2 life sentences.
God
Because I think
deliver
one of
me.
the things he was talking about is like, you don't need a pastor.
You know?
All you need is the good book
You true.
to find the Lord.
Come
and things
on.
of that sort.
Come on.
Because
He's
he's like,
telling the
well,
truth.
when I served my 2 life sentences, I didn't have no pastor to tell to give my life up to God. I just read the Bible, and I said, you know what, God, this is your life now.
Did anybody in the audience react? Was you the only one looking around?
I was tending to my mama, so I didn't get a chance to.
And I believe, and
Get
don't
a
get me
lay of
wrong.
land.
Don't get me wrong. I believe when you serve your time, you do your time. Your plate is clean. You serve your time. You come out and be free. But 2 life sentences, that's 50 years.
This brother had an interesting ass life.
That's Detroit for you, though, ain't it? I'm
Because he
curious
was talking
now.
about, then he started talking about how he met President Obama.
Hold on.
and-
So he done went from 2 life sentences to Obama's dinner table.
Yeah.
Come on. We got to know more about him.
So, he's talking about all this other stuff. And I'm like, damn.
Only in Detroit.
Yeah. And I almost
During
wanted
a funeral. What?
I almost wanted to get him the Black Unicorn title.
You know what? Yeah, because he had him some bomb lawyers to be a
Shit.
black man in Detroit to get out of 2 life sentences.
This nigga
Come
was
on.
in prison serving 2 life sentences. He gave his life out to
the
life
Lord.
to the Lord. Now
Yeah.
he out preaching and he met President Obama.
Come on. Well, I know my Lord performed miracles, so it don't surprise me. But it's just the way he slid that in there without no context. Because I'm curious now.
Exactly.
You
And
know-
and I didn't get a chance to pull him aside and say, hey, brother, so tell me more about this 2
was
life
you a
sentences.
killer, a dealer? What was it?
What happened?
What the Lord deliver you from?
Yeah.
But we say what? Every saint got a past and every sinner got a future.
So
When
that
I
was
think about
another
when I
thing.
think about the goodness of Jesus and all He's done for me.
So that was another thing that caught my eye, in addition to my mama fainting.
Yeah.
Things of sort. And then they had this recording from my aunt.
Now
play.
that when you told me that, Niram, that's what took me out. The pastor had me on. I know you said when your mom, got emotional. Well, that ain't surprise. That's what we do in our culture. We don't hold this in. So that was just her expression.
Yeah.
You told me the pastor had 2 life sentences. I was engaged. But this piece here.
Yes.
Oh, now you tell me your aunt, who was laying in the casket, she had a word for y'all
She had a word for us
at the funeral.
At the funeral.
So she came on the bit speakers
On the PA
like
system.
the Lord in
from
my
the
head
church.
do.
Yep.
And what she say? What she say?
It was beautiful. I think
yeah, of
it
course.
was.
It's just new for me.
One of my cousins had recorded like a conversation they was having, and she was like, don't cry for me. Like I'm not feeling any pain.
Yes.
Come
on.
I got my life with the Lord.
Hey.
When I feel the devil come around, I stump on the floor 3 times and say, "Go on now, here, devil."
What?
Yeah, go on out here.
Oh,
Devil.
hey, cast out.
And she cast out the
Name
devil.
it and claim it.
And it was beautiful. Like she was just pretty much just saying like don't cry for her.
Live
She
your life.
loves y'all. Stay together. And pretty much that. But I think more or less for me, what just took me off is that I just seen her body, her lifeless body in this
And
casket.
you done kind of get closure, said
And-
your goodbyes or whatever.
And
that
I'm
is.
like, all right, she's gone. And then come up from the PA system, because all the church speakers come from the ceiling. Because I guess they want to sing like the voice of God or
the
something.
voice of God.
So all the sounds is coming from the ceiling, and then you got her voice coming from the ceiling too, and it kind of threw me off a little bit.
It's a
'cause
little
I was
conflicting.
Like, say, oh, she here?
What did the people in the audience? I like to look at other people's reactions. Did they do anything?
My mom was reacting to her like she was talking to her.
Hold on. What you mean she was reacting like she was?
Like,
she was like talking back.
Yes. So she's shaking her head, putting her hand up, like, yes,
Yeah.
I miss you, sister.
Yeah.
I missed you. Yes, I don't want to cry anymore for you. And,
Oh.
yeah, like call and response type of stuff.
I love black culture.
So they
Ain't
was
nobody
just-
do it like us.
They were getting it in, and I was just more or less like, is this the new thing now?
I don't know. I've been to funerals, but the folks who've passed been a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the new trends are in funerals.
Me either.
That might be. But I've heard of people doing that, but I've heard of people doing it like more with their immediate family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it'll be during like a will reading.
Yeah.
It's more intimate, like, you know what I'm saying? Or I've seen where people have it like where there's like recordings for individual people and you listen to them at their own pace. But I've never been to a funeral where after we done closed the casket and did all that stuff, and the pastor come and be like, sister or brother so-and-so got some words to say to y'all. That's a lot.
Yeah, and the message was beautiful.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Thank goodness she was a good spirit in heart, because if she petty like me.
Oh, yeah, I would have been.
What I say? Shout out to all y'all who came, for all the folks who didn't. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna
even
hate.
In death. Like, what?
I would have been calling out people.
I got something to say. And you, nigga.
Right. And Johnny.
I don't forgive you.
Johnny.
I do not forgive you.
Johnny, you need to let go of some of them drugs. Them drugs holding on to you. I would just be hitting people with all the messages.
You be guilting them.
Yeah.
You be guilting everybody into it.
Yeah. Ray, I need you to go back to school, baby.
Go back.
Go back to school. I need you to
my
go
wish,
back.
my final wish, so I can rest in peace.
It's for you to go back to school.
If you don't do it, I can't do it. I can't rest in peace.
Nah, Alicia. I need you to close your legs.
To married man, no, okay. But I just thought that was unique, and I think that just even goes back to that's going back to into the Black culture. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So us being from slave defense, civil rights Black, and African Black and Island Black, we all got renditions of this. So I know y'all all can identify with funerals and grieving and the outward grieving. Like Black folks, we don't hold grieving in a lot. Like we outwardly express it. And I think it's something beautiful about that. And I know we're making it lighthearted and everything, but we know that everyone has their process. And this is a part of our culture, and we appreciate it. And that's why we had to bring it on Black Love Matters. Right?
Exactly.
And I would say, bringing it full circle to talk about, Black love and the romantic piece about it. How do you think it is going through a couple? Like, and me supporting, did you feel as if I supported you in this? Or what do you think, what supports do you need when this type of thing happens? So when you're grieving?
I need time. Mm-hmm. I need time to process.
Yes.
And I need meals.
Oh, Jesus.
I need time and food.
That goes again to that brown culture. We believe in keeping you full. When people pass,
have dinner
you
ready.
Gotta eat. You gotta feed your soul. Literally, you got to do that. And I try to do that for Niram. So I try to really give him his space. I try to make sure he got his 3 full meals and 2 snacks without a lot of talk back. I really try to do that and go from there.
Yeah, because that's me. Like, I'm more or less, like, when it comes to that stuff, it's like an internal processor.
I know you are.
And
so I know this was a lot for you. Because, when you told me that, I didn't even shake. I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds normal. And you were like, what? This is not normal. I said, yes, it is.
It's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then for me, on the other end, I think I'm a little bit opposite to you. So I think I stopped eating. Mm-hmm. So you got to kind of force me to eat.
Yes.
But I'm more the person, I need the distraction. So I'm the type of person that if I sulk, I get too deep into it.
Right. You got to get her as a puzzle or something.
Yeah, like I gotta pull myself out of it, because I go down kind of the rabbit hole of, oh Lord, I really get deep into this idea of reflection and processing to the point where it can kind of become shadow, and it can become, what's up when you kind of just go over it in your head again and again and again when it's not productive. Mm-hmm. So I think those are the supports I need. So I'm the type of something, if I'm grieving, I actually need someone to physically pull me out of it. Like I need someone to be like, let's go to the movies.
Right.
Let's go to the mall. Like going out to eat. So don't bring me food to my house. Say, let's go out to eat. Let's get out of it. Because I would kind of dig myself into that. And I think Niram's really good about being able to pick that up in my grieving process. I'm not a crier, believe it or not.
If she is, it's usually in the closet.
Yeah, so I'm not I'm an outwardly processor. So I will say, how much I miss that person, how much I'm hurting. Like I'm really good at articulating that. But of really, sometimes you just need a good cry. Mm-hmm. And to outwardly do that, that's not something I do. I remember even when my grandmother passed, I think it took me almost a month to be like, oh man, she's gone.
Yeah.
And, finally cry. And when that cry came, you ever have a cry that you holding in for so long that it burned?
Yeah.
Like, the tear ducts is so dry that when the water hit it, it burned. Like, it almost hurt.
It reminded me of that episode from Von Zant when that.
Why do you do this?
With the black man and black daddy.
Shut up! He just like, ah.
And the son was like, and I still love you. And the daddy's like, bye.
Don't leave that man alone.
That's how Nyambi cry.
That is not.
That's why Nyambi cry, because she be holding on so much that it's come out like that, like a war cry.
You be like,
bye. You all right, baby? I miss her so much. Where does come from?
Who do you miss?
Grandma. Oh shit! It's been 2 years.
What you say? It's been 2 years.
You just grieving, baby? Bless your heart.
So I think that's important for the folks out there that is in romantic relationships or platonic relationships too, to just find out how, your friend, your partner grieves and really helping them support that. So, I think we're really good at, bouncing off each other and being able to step in and really feeling the needs and the desires and the wants of that person, because I think grieving is real and grieving is something that is unique to every person. I think grieving and like your path with God or how you outwardly express your love for God are two very personal things. And that's when Nyambi gives you all rank. You can show out, you can shout, you can be quiet, you can cry, you can read, you can sign dance, you can hip hop, you can do whatever you want, spoken word. I don't care what you do. You can paint by colors. I don't care. Do macaroni art. However you have to express that grief or the love for God, Nyambi give you free range to do that.
Did she say macaroni art?
However you got to express your grief or the love for your God, Nyambi is for it. So when you say folks falling out, do what you got to do, bruh, sis, cuz. Because you got to do it. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So what else we got from our Detroit check-in?
So that was it from the funeral. And then I picked you up, and then we went to Detroit Historical Museum.
That was so nice. I think we put some pictures on Instagram. For y'all don't know, I'm a nerd too. So y'all might have picked up too. I'm a ratchet nerd. Y'all know I got that. I'm getting this PhD. So I think this is also where me and Nia really bonds. We love museums. So whenever we go out of state, like it don't matter where we go, we always find a museum. And so Michigan, we done been about all the museums here, but it was one we never been to. Mm-hmm. And I felt shamed. We never been to the Detroit Historical Museum. And then here go my parents. That exists? I said,
Lord.
I said, y'all been living here.
All y'all lives.
All y'all black ass lives.
Y'all done been through the riots and everything
Been through the riots. Done everything. They talk about that exists. Because I kept saying I want to go there. And they like, what is that? Does that exist? Like they was like, is that the Detroit Institute of Art? Or they kept saying, you mean the African American Museum? I said, it's more than the African American Museum in Detroit. Because it's a beautiful museum, by the way. So if you go to the African American Museum, it is top notch. But I was like, no, it's more than that. So you want to talk a little bit about our Detroit Historical Museum? First of all, my dad, he excited because we done win in part. And, we going to the counter to pay. And they like, it's free.
It's free.
Oh, it's free?
Oh, I ain't got to pay for nothing?
This is nice. Oh, now all of a sudden this is nice.
Yeah. Ooh, I can come back twice on Sunday.
Yeah, now he want to come back and go through all the literature because he done got a little deal.
I want to read everything now.
Read everything. Yes. But what you thought about the museum?
I thought it was wonderful. They had a tribute to the 67 riots.
Yes, they did.
Because it was the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
I think it's the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it's not, don't quote me to it. Maybe it's the 40th anniversary. It's one of those big milestone anniversaries. So
50,
it was good.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
And like all the stuff they had.
Because they had like an oral history of these people.
Yes. So one of the things is, and
I
don't
people,
know.
I shouldn't say these people.
And I don't know if you've seen it, but they had that big ass tank. So on the other side of the tank,
shaking.
It was everybody describing like when they first seen the tank in
because
Detroit.
that has to be earth shattering to see a damn tank roll down your street.
To like literally somebody call you and say, "Hey nigga, look out the window."
It's a tank. It's a military tank.
And you look out there and the tank come and point that big ass gun towards you. And you're like, "Oh shit."
Hit the ground, honey.
I think that's when it got real.
That's when it got real because we were even joking because in the movie it highlighted it a little bit. And I asked my grandfather about it. And it was like this dichotomy. So it was people who were like in the riots who knew what was going on deep in it. But then there was folks 2 blocks away that's like sitting on their porch like, oh, it's a riot?
There's a riot going on? Ain't nobody told me.
I was like, what? Because it just tried to be like people just because in the porch. I think it was that little old black lady who was sitting on her porch. I said, ma'am, they is shooting and looting and killing and dealing out here. I'm going to need you to get in the house.
Ain't nobody told me it was a riot.
Because she's like, why are you under the car, baby? So, I think that's that dichotomy that we had too, because I know I even asked my grandfather. He was like, yeah, I knew about it. And he was like, I didn't go to work for a couple of days because, I had to, basically protect his family, at his house to make sure nothing pop off. Mm-hmm. Because, during that time, my grandparents lived closer to like the downtown area. So they weren't too far from where all this stuff was happening. But my grandfather was like, yeah, some people just didn't realize it was going on until it was halfway done or it was over.
Oh, man.
And I was like, they didn't see the fire? They didn't see the smoke?
Right.
They didn't see the news, honey, or listen to the radio? Like, what? I mean, I guess, it talks to our privilege of social media and having its access to what's going on 24/7. I guess people was minding their black ass business.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they had like different tributes like that. I think one of the things that really shocked my eye is like they had this phone. And then on the sign was like, be prepared for a phone call. So the phone rang, and what they say, Nyambi?
Oh, Lord you got to pick up the phone. Of course, I'm there. I'm picking up the phone. Hello. Ba-ding. Hello. And it was a black man that was saying, hey, baby, this is, I don't know, his name was Earl. You know, they got me working these double shifts. It's the, you know, these riots going on. I don't know when I'll be able to get home. You know, I love you. I love the kids. Y'all get in the basement. And then he start yelling in the background. Then you hear shooting. And then the phone just go dead.
Oh, shit.
I was like, Lord, this is not.
Lord, what happened to Earl?
It was just different conversations like that of people calling their families, and basically they were saying that's the last time they ever talked to their loved ones. Do you know what I'm saying? Because of this violence and the things that happened, be it that they passed away or be it that they were arrested, like it was just so real and beautiful.
Yeah.
That it was sickening. And they went into deeper of the history of Detroit. And if you all don't know, like there was like this urban generous again, like, I feel like the same thing happens every 10 to 15 years.
They call it urban revitalization.
Yeah,
something like that.
From looking, through the history of the museum, it looks like this happens every 10 to 15 years. And they were showing the development. Was that 75 or what freeway?
Yeah, it was a couple freeways.
Yeah.
Like wherever a freeway is at in Detroit,
yeah,
it pretty much was a black community.
It basically destroyed a up and coming or very successful black community, and they destroyed it. And just plowed through it. And not only that, a black community, but also the brown communities. So the Chinatown, they done went through a few times, different Mexican towns, like that's what we would call it out here. They just destroyed it and created these freeways. And through these freeways, literally created a physical segregation.
Yes.
So on one side of a freeway, it would be all white people. And on the other side of the freeway, that's where all the black people relocated. So it was physical segregation that you could see.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then there was that map. We also put it on Instagram, right? Yeah. That showed like where all the black people were, like when they were in Black Bottom and all that. And then how they spread out to see Detroit and the white flight. You want to talk
the white
about
flight.
That?
So basically white flight is when the white people get the fuck out
of
the city.
Thank you.
And it just happens and they just migrate. It's pretty much like where you see like an influx of black people come in and then an outflux of white people. Yeah. Right now, I think in Detroit it's reversing where you see like a outflux of black people leaving because there's no jobs here and things of that sort, and you starting to see an influx of white people come in
on back
and like buying up these town houses and things
property
of that sort.
Right off the beautiful river, like all this stuff. Like even outside the museum, I know we're still talking about that. Detroit has something called a Q line now that is free.
Yeah,
it's just Detroit ain't never had no shit free.
It's like
it's like a bus. I don't know. It's bus train.
Like a trolley.
It's like a trolley. First of all, Detroit ain't never had no trolley, free train, or even good public transportation. Right. Okay, so all of a sudden you got one that go all the way up and downtown, consistently clean, air conditioned, and Wi-Fi for free.
The fuck out of here.
What was that at 10 years ago?
The whites are coming.
They are coming. And also in the museum, they had a segment about, the big three and the assembly lines. I think it gave me another greater appreciation for that assembly line work. Y'all hear us talk about the plant life, and that's how people made their living. The plant life ain't no joke.
Sure ain't.
I actually had an uncle who worked for, I have many uncles who worked for the plant, but I actually had an uncle who worked for the plant, and he had to retire out because working on the line, he lost basically 4 of his fingers. The machinery cut it off.
Lord.
But seeing that, so actually in the museum, they had an example of a line in like a hood of a car coming down and how all that works. Like, it ain't no joke up in there.
Sure ain't.
It ain't for everybody. I know it ain't for Nyambi.
It ain't for Nyambi.
Could you imagine how hot it is up in there?
Yeah. Well, my pops did it for 30 some odd years as well. Yeah. And the plant life is a different lifestyle.
Ain't it?
I really can't think of anything that's close to it where, people come in, they got CDs, DVDs, liquor, weed.
And nobody care as long as you get that damn car done. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's
these
crazy.
These motherfuckers selling sex and everything else because they, like, people are literally in the plant for like hours and days.
24/7. They don't stop.
Because they like, I got to get this overtime. I got to work. And the white man don't give me this overtime, so I need to stay up in here. So it's to the point where people have food.
At minimum, working 12-hour shifts. At minimum.
Exactly.
But yeah, anything else from the museum? I think it's just beautiful. Like they had this whole area on like the music and each of the decades. I think I love the stuff with like Coleman Young, the mayor. Say something. I was like slogan. Say something good about Detroit.
Yeah, say something nice about Detroit.
Yeah, say something nice about Detroit. Like it was just good to just take the time to reflect and really read through the history because we know the history. Yeah. But sometimes really reading it and putting names to it. So not doing this overgeneralization. Like actually having names, faces, and people. Really kind of just got me excited. And it also made me miss my city a little bit. So, in white-ass New England, although we're by Boston and New York, the cultural activities are different.
Yes, it totally is.
Does that make sense? So it's a lot of cultural things that are going on, but I feel like everything back in New England is so like overarching.
Mm-hmm.
But here is you can get in it.
Yes.
Like it's very this is what we doing on this day. Like they celebrated Marcus Garvett's birthday at the African American Museum. Like it's just having something like this every single day is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like I think that's what I just remember from Detroit, and that's what I got from the museum.
I think so too. And just to wrap it up on the Pretty Bowl, it definitely made me want to come back home.
Yeah,
it did. Like having that nostalgia, seeing that stuff, and just made me go through all the things I went through growing up, and how much fun we had, like being downtown Detroit and going on Wayne State's campus, and celebrating stuff on the riverfront and going to Belle Isle. Yeah. Those are some of the things that being out in New England for the past 8 years that I miss.
Yeah, I agree.
In addition to like the family and things that my family and friends and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. But I really miss like the culture and being like authentically unadulterated Black in my city, and knowing that I can be as Black as I want to be and as nerdy as I want to be, and nobody's gonna look at me any different.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. And then what we got? Okay, y'all. I think this is the last little Detroit one we got. Before we got more good stories to tell. Mind you, this all don't happen in 12 hours?
Yes.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's always something going on. Y'all, my parents got an Echo. And they done had it for 3 weeks. And they first told me they got it. And I was like, the instructions should be simple. It's only 3 parts. Y'all read it. Like, y'all good. Like I said, my parents in their 50s. Like, come on. I'm going to need y'all to step up y'all technology. Y'all can do this, right? Mm-hmm. And they was like, yeah, we'll do it. I come home and I'm like, where y'all Echo at? And they was like, oh, we was waiting for y'all to come to set it up. We was like, first of all, they was waiting for everything us to come home to set it up. But Nim, you want to go through this Echo? Do everybody know what Echo is?
You should. It's pretty much like Siri, but on a speaker.
It's for your home. Yeah, it's Siri for home through Amazon.
It's an Amazon version of Siri. Instead of it being on your phone, it's a little speaker that you put there, and you say, "Hey Alexa," and blah blah blah, just like you say, "Hey Siri." Yeah. But I think the funny part is, and I guess we can get to that. Yeah. That's how your dad.
My dad was trying so
Alexis.
hard. Yeah, he kept calling the wrong name.
Alexis.
He was like, "Alexis, don't listen." I said, "Who is Alexis?" I said, "Her name is Alexa." Alexa. He go up to her. He be like, Alexis. Alexis.
Alex.
I was like, her name is Alexa. Alexa. I put it on a post-it note and put it next to it. I said, her name is Alexa.
Oh, Alexis.
And nothing was set up. I was like, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe he couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi or something. I said, what you done did? He said, we plugged it up.
We plugged it up, and that's how far we got.
I was like, no.
Did y'all try?
No, they said they was down to 1 a.m. trying to figure it out. They just gave up. I said, what y'all doing? Just hitting buttons?
Right.
Just look. Alexis. And they started talking to Alexa like it's a real person. Right. Alexis, do you hear me?
Alexa, what's the weather, baby?
My mom, Alexis, baby. What's the leather? What's the weather? I mean, I was like, no, that's not how you talk to her. But the thing is, it's not just the Echo. So my parents did like a little upgrade with the house. Everything in the house is smart.
Just about.
So what they got? They got a smart fridge. They got the fridge where you open the door, then you can just open one part of the door, so you don't got to go in all of it. Me and Niram, we ain't used to nothing, so we liking it.
Right.
They got a smart dishwasher, a smart stove. So I don't even know what that means, but they got it. And they don't know how to connect none of that.
No, I'm talking about we should be able to use this with Alexis.
Yeah, I said her name was Alexa.
We should be able to tell Alexis to preheat the oven or something like that. That's what the man told us at the store. I said, so is that the reason why y'all got Alexa? So y'all can tell the oven to preheat?
And playing music. Play Anita Baker. Or they'll be like, Anita. I mean, you gotta tell her to play Anita Baker. And then of course they don't got Amazon Prime, and so they trying to sell it to her. So they'll be like, okay, Alexa, play Anita Baker. They're like, you don't have Amazon Prime. What music? Would you like the music? No, I said play Anita. And they going back and forth with. I said you got to tell her to play it on Pandora. And they're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So it is just that's the stuff I kind of low key miss. Right. That when he kept calling that girl Alexis, Alex.
I think the cool part is that we told her to play the Black Love Matters podcast.
And it came on.
Because
I thought she was going to be funny because I was going to have a problem with Alexis. I was going to have a problem with Alexis. if she ain't played a podcast. That's so funny. But so that's just the initial.
Yeah, it was just crazy, and just like looking at your family, it's like, why y'all got all this smart shit
All this technology. Ain't
and
nobody
don't know how to
using it.
use it?
Don't know how to use it at all.
My God.
Yes. We're going to go over there today, I think, and really connect the stove,
Yeah.
the fridge, and also see what else they need. So they had this Echo. So what else do they need? Like, I would think you need stuff for lights, stuff they going to use a little bit more to TV.
Right.
And that's the stuff they don't even got it for.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they ain't got no smart light switches, no smart light bulbs, like none of that. So they're like, Alexa,
Turn off the lights.
turn off the lights. And it's like, sorry.
You do not have a connection for it. And I'd be scared to let's turn off the lights. So I said, you just want to control the house?
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
What else we got, baby?
I think that's kind of our summary, our pillow talk from Detroit. We loving our city. It's a good time. Like I said, we're going to give y'all more updates. As you know, this weekend we're celebrating my grandfather's birthday. We're going to have some family in. Hopefully we can get some good interviews for y'all for more Black love. That if we don't have them on Monday, it'd be something we stagger out therefore. But I think with Kindred.
Yeah.
Where are you at with Kindred? Our book club update.
Yeah. So,
What's going on with you and Kindred?
I read through the book. Well, during the plane, I just put it on Audible.
I know you did because I went to bed and I seen the book laying on your nightstand. I said, "Oh, so he not gonna read 3 pages while he in Detroit?"
Because the thing is, I had forgot because I was packing so much, and I was like, "Well, I ain't got enough room for this book."
Oh, so Kendra had to stay, huh? You ain't have enough room for a book?
I had no room for that book.
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
'Cause
"Well,
it's
let me
so
go
big.
ahead." Well, I actually listened to it on YouTube. I got the audio book on YouTube, so
Jesus.
even better.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the part. So I got through the chapter, and they was talking about. So she then went back. Dana and her husband went back this time. So
Yeah.
she was going through some shit,
Yeah.
and then her husband grabbed onto her ass,
Mm-hmm.
and then they went back, and then they see Rufus there with a broken leg or some bullshit
Rufus
like that.
stay hurt.
And then the other little black slave, that's his friend. I can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess more or less the
His friend
gist,
allegedly.
yeah, his friend / slave. But the thing that's more or less was the premise was that Dana and her husband end up saying, and I knew the husband was a white man.
Come on.
I figured he was a white man.
What is that bother you? What is wrong?
I knew he was a white man. So the husband had to play it off
Yeah.
and talking about Dana, his slave,
Yeah.
and he know that she can read and write.
Yeah.
And like the other slave owners, like, I don't like this shit. So Dana around teaching everybody how to read. She even taught Rufus how to read. She even taught other slaves how to read.
Trust Rufus, honey. Mm-hmm.
She doing all types of other shit.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got to the point where the owner of like the compound where they at, he done found Dana reading to another person or teaching somebody else how to read.
Yeah.
And Dana thought that he got the permission. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
So he come out there and he started whipping her ass, like whipping her.
Oh.
So Dana about to transform, and then her husband.
Did you say transform?
You know, whatever, transport.
Yeah.
So her ass about to transport, and you can see her husband running, trying to get to her. And I think she left her husband. Did she leave him?
You have to say.
Oh,
Of
man.
course. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff.
I'm pretty
he a
sure-
white man. He be all right.
I'm pretty sure she left him.
Yeah.
But like, them white folks didn't trust her ass. Like, this slave can read and write.
Reading better than us.
Right.
Come on.
We don't like this hoe. She read too damn well.
Yep.
She talk funny,
Come on.
and she dressed funny.
Yep.
And I don't like this shit.
I mean, is it mirroring today?
Yeah,
Come on. And this idea that your master can't be your friend.
exactly.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Hey,
What you mean? Hey, I'm telling you.
that's a word.
Octavia Butler be slinking some gems in there. Yo, master is not your friend.
Mhm.
And then even with her, she reading a little bit too well. She doing too much.
She doing
Same
too
thing
much.
for now.
Yeah,
They don't want certain brown folks to be doing a little bit too much.
exactly. So
Okay.
I think that's more or less interesting in how like the husband had to play it up.
Yeah.
Um,
Look, did he play it too well, honey?
yeah,
Did he slide into it too well?
he got
Come
right.
on.
He got all into his
He got
ancestors
comfortable.
real quick.
He channeled them.
Right. This my black nigga bitch.
Ooh, shut up.
Nigga, ain't y'all married?
What
You
you
can call her a black
Black
nigga
nigga
bitch.
Come on.
I had to do it to play a part.
Yeah, I bet you did.
The fuck out of here.
The part that you know so well that's instinctual.
Yeah.
Mm.
But that's what I got from it. It's very interesting. I'm hooked now.
I told you.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next
Yeah.
in the book
Told
and
you.
see how it plays out.
I'm
But this
telling
is
you, it's good.
interesting as hell.
I know. I'm excited for you to give me your book so I can begin reading, giving updates. I told you, Kindred is a classic. It's stuff that mirrors today and what's going on, and you know how to work through it and all that good stuff.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. Well, we got a little kitchen table talk, Bruss discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So as always, to submit your questions for kitchen table talk, shoot us an email at blacklovematters@gmail.com, at blacklovematters@gmail.com. I just want to say before we jump into it, we got a really good kitchen table talk coming up on Monday that I'm very, very excited about. We talking about religion and the man and all my favorite things, right?
Yeah.
But for today, the one we're going to focus on, it says, "Hey, sis, bruh, cuz I've just started a podcast I'm sure I'm going through normal podcasting woes, such as a lack of listeners, subscribers. One thing I've been struggling with is getting people that I know that don't listen to my podcast to listen to my podcast. The name of it is the Official Bozzcast, Bozzcast. The other thing that I'm struggling with is getting my podcast in front of podcast listeners that I don't know. Lately, I've been trying to just find regular podcast listeners to see my podcast. So I'm on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud for now. That's shady. Yeah. Don't be joining Near on bandwagon. Google Play, Speaker, and TuneIn Radio to get as much exposure as possible. What do you guys think is the best strategy, if any? P.S. My wife and I do a podcast together as well, and as you guys... we're both from the Midwest. I just love your point of views, even though I don't always agree. But different voices are so necessary, and you guys are very different. We've been touched by white hands. Don't stop casting. So Boz. So thank you so much for the email, Boz. We appreciate you, Brustis cousin. Shout out to you and your wife. That also from the Midwest. Like, what part of the Midwest y'all from? See, that's Midwest. We want to know. What part? Did you got family? Do you know the Johnsons? We always got to make a connection somehow. Right. So we always love it. And our point of views, we know it's a little different. That's why I told you I was also scared to podcast, because I know some of my views are very radical eclectic. That's how I would describe Nyambi. Yes. Radical ratchet eclectic. So any day of the week, you're going to catch me on Marcus Garvey tip, but I still love the Lord. But don't try me, okay? Because I cuss a little. So, I know that my feelings, thoughts, and views and expressions can be a little bit different. So thank you, Boz, for knowing that and appreciating that. And thank you for still listening, too. So we might have to talk about that. Sometimes, in our community, they be like, I don't know what this negress is talking about. Shut up, ho. So shout out to all y'all for hanging in there with as crazy as we sound and our views and going through it. And you're right. Different voices are necessary. Like, that's why even when I podcast, I try to listen to a variety of people, even if it makes me cringe sometimes. Like, I listen from everything from the Reed to the Friend Zone to NPR to Angela Rye. So I told you I listen to the zombie ones too, just to get that different perspective. And sometimes even when I be listening to the little NPR show, I'm like, y'all shut the fuck up. Like, I can't handle this. This is too much. It's too whitewashed, but you have to listen to it. Do you know what I'm saying? To understand, you have to be willing. You don't have to accept it, but you have to be willing to open yourself up to a variety of perspectives. I ain't got over to that right wing alternate left. I can't listen to that bullshit yet. But, really just being open to it. So I appreciate it. And as always, we're always listening to new podcasts to listen to. So just to our listeners, we're going to have to check it out too, Niram. I haven't listened to it, but I'm definitely going to, when we're on our plane ride home, because we're on that bright and early 6 a.m. flight, I'm going to have to check them out. And y'all should too. It's called the Official Bozzcast. So
I think that's what you Bozzcast.
Bozzcast. Yeah. Oh, so you can have a speech impediment, but I can't.
I was just helping you out because the dude name is Boz, so I figured it was Bozzcast.
Okay. Niram, you always cut me off. But this is definitely, I'm going to let Niram kind of take the front with this letter, because he is like the social media guru, wheelhouse, that type of thing for different tips and tricks. But we babies in the game. Yeah. So we strive to be, one day like Rod and Karen and all those folks, like, because we started this with the thoughts that my mama and your sister would listen.
Right.
And they would just call us every Sunday and talk about it with us.
Right.
So, I don't know how much we can give, but we can give you the information that we know now, and we can give you our support and send you good energy. And what I would say is just don't stop. I think my feedback, so I guess Nyambi don't have enough, but my thing is just be consistent. Don't stop. Like, I know the struggle is real now, sis, bruh, cuz, but from your email, just from looking at some of your social media site, this looks like this is what your purpose is. This is what you see your calling to be, and you cannot stop the grind. Do you know what does that make sense now?
Yes.
Like, even if you feel like, just your cousin, your sister, and Niram and Nyambi the only one listening, please continue to do it, because like you told us, we need your voice. We need it out there. That this is your form of resistance. and you have to lean into it, and you just have to remain steadfast and unwavering. And I don't, I'm like, I feel like I'm begging them, please don't stop what you're doing. Niram, what's some other, practical advice you have, I guess?
Yeah, so I guess one,
because we knew, honey, we don't know too much.
So, and I think that's more or less where I'm at. Like, I'm very honored that Boz, you reached out to us to get some advice, because, like I said, we're relatively new when it comes to podcasting, especially when it comes to this podcast. It's only been around since June. And my other podcast, I've been around since January, so I only got really 6 months of podcasting experience under my belt. And I think one of the things that really helped me out is having that first podcast and trying out some things that didn't work out there and struggling to use for this podcast. So one of the things I initially started off with is this notion of law averages, and knowing that you're going to have so many people that's going to be like, no, I'm not listening to it, versus the people who are really going to be down for it. And the thing is with that, you just really just working on building up those people who are going to listen to it, because we shared it with family. They made me listen to it once. And we shared it with some friends.
And Naomi had to work through that, because I'm a bit the way I work and with my circle is that we support each other, even if it's trash. Like, you support each other regardless. So I really had to get over the wheelhouse. If you don't support Naomi, you don't listen to my podcast, we ain't friends.
Yeah.
and that ain't the right way to do it. So I'm working through that. I'm working through my own lead. I'm talking to the Lord. But I just think, because it's a form of resistance. So this is how you support. So if you're able to support some white people or some, folks who doing you wrong, treating you like trash, why wouldn't you support friends and family?
Exactly.
That throws me off. And I know that's the episode in this damn self.
Yeah.
And I'm working through it. And I know my real ones, they listening. Even if it's in the background, they ain't listening. They doing it. So I know that. And I appreciate y'all. But, I got to do my own personal shadow work when it comes to other friends and family that, act like they can't listen. But, okay. I'm sorry, Nir. Go ahead.
So Naomi gets very sensitive about this, like people not listening, things of that sort. Especially when it's family and friends.
Yeah, close friends.
As people we really call day one, or like real people. Friends. Like, you've been at my house and I've cooked you dinner,
or I've looked out for you,
and I looked out for you, and you can't listen to my podcast. Like, Naomi gets very sensitive about that.
But not just our podcast, anything. So anything. I know I made it personal with the podcast, but any entrepreneur endeavor that I feel like a friend having that's brown, I think you should do your best to support it, especially if it's free. Exactly. Like, it just bothers me when we don't do that as much. And I think that's an episode in itself when it comes to kind of close family and friends. It just bothers me. And I know that's my own shadow work I got to go through, because you can't expect other folks to do that. But it's just something for the culture in the places that we are now in America. How can you not support your own? Well, that's how 45 winning, honey.
Exactly.
Come on.
So
sorry, Bob. Sorry.
Thank you, baby. Like, she's very. Anyways, so the law of averages, that's definitely a notion that you can have a lot of people that's going to turn it down and not listen to it, or say they listen to it, and it's going to be a very small number when you initially start. And the thing that you're really worrying about is getting started and keeping consistency to build up that number.
Yes.
I think about how they had this example when they was talking about what's that Jewish radio guy? Howard Stern, and how, like, he has said the F-bomb, he has said fuck so many times, and, there's so many people, like, every time he's dropped the F-bomb, so many people leave, but there's also so many people that come to him just on the fact because of that. So, if you're relatively new, and I think we're doing the same thing, it's like trying to find our stride, trying to figure out who we are and things of that sort, because when you're a new podcast, you go into these things like, well, I just don't give a fuck, so I'm just going to say wild and crazy things and go on from there, and we're going to have fun, and more or less figuring out, like, what that stride is.
Absolutely.
You are pretty much on every podcasting platform that we on: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Spreaker, and TuneIn, and like all the other ones. And I personally found that for me, Apple Podcasts provides 80% of our downloads. So, listening to the 80-20 rule. So I don't know if you have funds to do ads or anything like that, but when you're doing things of that sort, when you're promoting, I would try to promote towards something that's bringing you in most of the views than versus going and trying to get more views, say, on Google Play or Spreaker or TuneIn and things of that sort. So, I'll do run Facebook ads once in a while, and when I do, I really just had that link for Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just going through the emails, figuring out what else. I personally don't think I found, like, what the best strategy is. No. Like, one of the things I just personally do, like, because I have a degree in digital media and design, and you know, I work for social media managers and community managers, like as a day job. Like that's more or less what I do. So I kind of take that approach of like social media marketing, Instagram marketing. So I don't know if you've seen my Instagram page where we do like those. I call them audiograms, where I got like the little speaker lines go up and you hear us talking. They give little clips. That helps out for us sometimes. You know, people listen to them. I feel like that's another way that, you know,
get a taste of who you are.
Yeah, people get a taste of who you are and things of that sort.
Without having to come into a whole podcast.
Exactly. And for me, like I'm always like engaging on social media. Like I'm always on Twitter. I'm always on Instagram, and it kind of drives Nyambi.
Oh my god!
Insane.
And I'm the opposite. Like I forgot I had Twitter.
Nyambi just got a Twitter account.
I only got 10 followers, and I just forgot. I forgot I had it. I ain't check it.
And she just lived life, and it's like, baby, you ain't tweeted in like 2 weeks. Like, oh shit, I got Twitter. Damn,
it's a journey.
So you know, it's really a journey, and just going through that, like I spent like at least 2 to 3 hours a day just on Instagram, following new people, liking people comments, commenting on people's stuff, you know, engaging with other podcasts, you know, trying to figure out ways to be guests on other podcasts or have people become guests on our podcast and things of that
Did you talk about Potted in Color? What is the young lady's name? The
hashtag Pods in Color.
Yeah.
Barry.
Yeah, I want to just put respect on her name because she's doing God's work.
Yes,
because I couldn't do it. I couldn't wrangle all y'all Negroes in.
So Podcast in Colors, I don't know if you use it. So there's a hashtag, but there's also like a directory, and it's hosted by Barry Sykes. I think that's her name. Shout out to you, Barry.
God's work she is
doing. So what it is a directory of all. It tries to be the directory of all podcasts of people of color. Mm-hmm. So, you know, people go there and they can check it out, and they have different categories and things of that sort. Yes. So I don't know if you submitted your podcast there, but that's also a good one to go through. Also, when you are like posting on Instagram, Twitter, things of that sort, they have a hashtag, and it's hashtag Pods in Color. Yeah. You know, and that's another way. But I think other than that, man, for us, that also worked out is just reaching out to other podcasts, you know, interacting with them,
being consistent and good content. Like I think it's just the hustle of it. I think it's just, and you know, being from the Midwest, you know, and appreciate it. Like it's just the hustle of being consistent and putting out content that you love. Yeah. So make sure you love what you're doing, and if you do that, you keep going. Because like I said, Niram and Nyambi, we doing it. It's just me, Niram. Niram's sister, my mama. And Sir Jeffrey and Corey. Yeah. Them only people we doing. Them the only opinions I care about. Exactly. Corey and Sir Jeffrey. Exactly. Shout out to y'all.
Exactly. Because like there's a few people just like your day ones that reach out, and
they like family. And you look forward to them.
You had these conversations with them, and like Corey is definitely one of them. Sir Jeffrey is one of them. Yeah. There's another young lady. I think her name is Shanice.
Yeah, she's a good one.
She's a good one. She shoots us emails, and I think one of the things you need to do is cultivate those people who are day ones, who are interacting,
and engage with them because they like family. I look forward to them. I'm like, did y'all listen? What y'all think about this? So right. I love it too. Yeah.
They are family, but they're also those type of people who are going to go out and be those, you know, be that intermediary and say, I just found this new podcast. Like, they're amazing. Yeah. Y'all need to check it out. Yeah. And sometimes you just got to do it the old-fashioned way. So one of the things that I did that I did in Detroit, or what I'm going to do, is just I printed out some flyers. They got Black Love Matters on there. It got the dates and times that we posting, the social media, and I'm literally like going to barbershops and like dropping them off and being like, hey, I got this.
Saying what we are. Yeah. So we saying we doing this for the community. We can't do this for the community if we ain't in the community. Right. Does that make sense? I think that's why I love coming back to Detroit, to be like, oh, I'm I'm in it. Yeah. I feel it. I vibe with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think it's getting back. So if we saying we in the community, we gotta be in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. So your boy Niram has like printed out like 500 flyers, and I'm literally going to barbershops and be like, hey, bruh, can I leave this? You know, I know y'all take club flyers, but can I leave my podcast flyer here? Like, we talk about Black love. You in a relationship. You want to be on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's getting to that.
You know, that type of thing. So, good advice, you know, good luck, man. Keep going. We all
please don't stop. I'm gonna check it out when I fly home. I know we're gonna have about 4 or 5 hours. I'm gonna definitely check you out and see how it sounds. But I would say don't stop. Please continue. We need you, and thank you so much for your support.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Shout Out Friday.
It's Shout Out Friday.
My favorite.
Yeah.
So it looks like we got a shout out from iTunes.
Yeah.
So we have an iTunes 5-star review. Thank y'all so much. You know, Niram always be asking, but so I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time out. I know it can be hard. And it's titled "Loving All This Black Love" from Future PhD. Shout out. Come on. Do we need to do a Future PhD club? Because we need all y'all to get y'all PhDs.
Shout out to all the black unicorns out there.
We need all the black unicorns who getting their PhD and entrepreneurs. Shout out to y'all. It says 5 stars, laughter, love, and culture per usual. Thank you for your black excellence. No, thank you. Yeah, shout out to that. And you said we have voicemails today?
Yeah, we got some voicemails.
All righty.
So let's figure this thing out.
All righty.
Hey, Niram and Iambi, what's going on? It's your brother Jeffrey, a.k.a. Sir Jeffrey 5D.
Sir Jeffrey?
What's up,
just
fam?
wanted to call and share a thought with you guys. I love what you're doing with the podcast. I'm an avid listener. I think that you guys have a natural chemistry and connection that matches perfectly and pairs together well for the airwaves. You know, when I'm listening to you guys, I feel like I'm right there in the room with you guys.
Thank you.
It's a good feeling. It's like I'm talking back with you guys. I love the fact that you guys interact back with, you know, black people to show love to you, because that's key. You know, just what by you guys like shedding light on black love, you know, that's something that is rare and is appreciated. You know, Nyambi, you're a queen. Miriam, you're a king.
Shout out to you, fam.
You guys keep this kingdom going. I know that you guys are on episode, I think, like 31. You know, I know you guys have a lot more to come. I can, you know, see you guys going far, far with the show. And, you know, just, I love what you're doing, so keep it going. And, you know, this definitely won't be the last voicemail for me.
All right, keep sending them, man.
Key, just like tell everybody about your show, and you guys probably have like at least 10 new listeners in the past like 48 hours.
Oh, thank you.
You know, it's like when you believe in something, you love something, especially when it's like, you know, something that you can uplift your people with, and that's something that we need right now.
Come on.
And that's something that you guys are bringing, and it's good for black people what you guys are doing. So anyway, I'm gonna keep it short. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Sir Jeffrey. That's one of our day. We was just talking about him, right?
Yeah.
It feel like family when you be talking to him. Actually, Sir Jeffrey actually sent us a letter that we going over on Monday.
Right.
Sir Jeffrey be stirring that damn pot.
We also got another
but I love
email. Let's see. Voicemail.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get this working. We can talk about both of them.
Hey, just to call and let you guys know I done listened to all 32 episodes, and keep up the good work, and I'll keep listening. Just a friend from the deep.
All right. That's Detroit, ain't
Shout
it?
out.
Detroit always come through.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just a friend from the D.
Free from the D.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, thank y'all
Yeah.
so much for sending those voicemails. I know Niram cut me off when I was talking about Sir Jeffrey.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir Jeffrey sent us an email that we're going to talk about on Monday. I be loving Sir Jeffrey. Like, he be on this. He needs to be, Sir Jeffrey, I don't know what your background is, but I feel like you need to get a PhD in philosophy.
That brother deep. He also got an EP out.
Oh, he do?
He do got an EP out.
Okay.
I can't think of the name. I don't know where my phone at. But
Well, we'll
Sir
have to get,
Jeffrey-
Monday when we read this
Yeah.
letter, we'll shout him out.
Sure,
and,
definitely
link
got
it.
a EP on iTunes
Yeah.
or Apple Music.
Oh, he need to do like a PhD. Look, this is my education, like in philosophy, in music, and the intersection of music and culture.
Something like
There
that.
you go. You're welcome.
But he dope, man.
Yeah.
His EP is something. When I listened to it, I was like, this don't really sound like Detroit music. Because when I think of Detroit music, you know, I think of like, you know.
Don't be doing our Detroit artists like that. Don't be, but they
I'm
do got a
not.
sound, honey.
Detroit niggas got a sound.
Yeah, they do.
And,
They
you know,
do.
I didn't know if, you know, I was going to figure out if that was going to be him.
You
But
thought
it
you gonna be a
wasn't.
Cheddar Boy Ice Blade? Come on.
Yeah, I
Come
thought
on.
it was going to be like an Eastside Cheddar Boy type shit.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. So, you know, shout out to you, Sir Jeffrey, man.
Yeah.
You doing your good things. Your
Absolutely.
EP was dope.
It was. We're going to
and-
shout it all out Mondays when we have all the information in front of us.
Exactly. And shout out to our friend from Detroit. Just
Yeah.
listening to us. Keep listening to us. We really appreciate it.
All right. As always, to submit your Black Love stories, go to blacklovematters.com/story. To submit a question for Kitchen Table Talk, shoot us an email at blacklovematters@gmail.com. gmail.com. And to leave us a comment about anything we talked about today, feel free to do that on our website, blacklovematters.com, SoundCloud, any forms of social media at Black Love Matters. Remember, that's Black Love Matters with no K. And don't forget that voicemail, y'all. We can be reached at 508-784-1111. Again, that's 508-784-1111. Talk to y'all later. And remember,
Love is ever evolving.
Peace.
Peace.